Okay, so for those of you that have just tuned in to said YouTube channel, I'm a teacher. Duh, that's hence the name. There's a protest going on tomorrow in Tallahassee. I teach in Florida. I teach in Orange County. I completely support everything that's going on, but since Polk County and the rest of Brevard decided they wanted to fucking throw hands, I guess I'll weigh in on mine too, because I got enough people on my Facebook page and enough people on my YouTube page to start some shit, and I am not the type to not want to start a fight. So, that being said, let me give you a little peek into my day as it sits right now. Tomorrow, I have a meeting during 7th period that I have to prep for all day while my students are still working that I'm still expected to teach. This meeting is with my new AP. She's now the third one this year that I've had. I teach an AP class. I also teach 4 other prep classes and 1 advanced class. The meeting that I'm having is to go over the problems that I'm having along with another teacher because the materials that we ordered in fucking October still haven't shown up and we have things to turn in. So this is the shit we're going through. DeVos, in her infinite wisdom, has decided that she's just going to completely ignore a whole bunch of shit that Congress and the rest of the people that hold her responsible for are trying to do to get her to write some shit, you know, like fixing student debt and everything else from for-profit colleges. But that's not even the point of this video. The point of this video is some of y'all are fucking up. You've got kids. If you have kids, this video's going out kind of late, but guess what? Keep them home tomorrow. Don't send them to school, because you know what that does? That keeps the school from having to hire substitutes and then penalize teachers for going to this protest, because what they're trying to do is call it a strike. Either Polk or Brevard County, because I can't remember which one it is threatening to fire 1,600 teachers over going to a protest tomorrow. They called out using their sick time and their duty days that we're given, which are paid, ahead of time to schedule the off time to go to Tallahassee. The state is actively fighting to keep teachers from having a livable wage. Okay? You don't have to like trans people, you don't have to like LGBT people, but what you do have to do is like your kids. Because here's the thing. I have to decide in the next week because my wife, who's a contract worker for the school system I work for, hasn't gotten paid since we had Christmas break. So I get to decide next week if it's worth the hit to my credit score to pay my house payment late so that we can wait until she gets paid so we can put gas in the truck so that I can go to work. I can't go to this protest tomorrow even though I'm part of the union, because I can't afford to miss work. Why, you ask? Random civilian that doesn't understand what I do for a living, nor what we go through? My wife had cancer earlier this year, and that meant I had to take a whole shit ton of off time, which means I can't get sick, because if I get sick and I call out and I don't have any sick leave, they charge me $200 a day to miss work. That's right. If I miss 5 days of work because 5, there, all of them are in the picture. There you go. If I miss 5 days of work, that's $1,000. I only make $1,200 every 2 weeks. Because the school system hasn't been following the pay schedule they agreed to pay me when I signed my contract. So this is what teachers are going through. If you know teachers or you have kids, don't send them to school on Monday. Period. Show the school system that teachers who are more worried about making their house payment or their car payment or whether or not they can get drugs so that they can, fix a terminal disease or whether or not they can see mental health counseling because dealing with kids is difficult, that's a problem. That's a fucking problem. My therapist that I see that has nothing to do with anything LGBT, but my therapist that helps me deal with my depression and the anxiety that I deal with from having to deal with kids that I have to report to DCF because their parents abuse them, or they're thrown out of their homes because they're homeless, or they're being, extorted, or they're being exploited because of human trafficking, etc., is $90 a session. And I see her once a week for an hour. My doc, aside from all the LGBT stuff, for those of you that are conservative, my doc that keeps me on my meds to keep me from like having a panic attack in front of your kids and being useless is like 65 a run. And that's because my insurance doesn't cover it. I just dropped $500 that I didn't have out of my summer savings account to get glasses because I have eye strain. Or my eyes are straining because I'm getting older and giving me migraines that are potentially keeping me out of work. This is the shit that people are going through right now. This has gotten bad enough that Sanders and Warren are weighing in, and whether or not you like the whole Democratic Socialists, etc. or not is irrelevant. Invest in your future, because if the teachers go down, guess who has to deal with your kids? You do. And guess who has to teach your kids up to the state standards? You do. Because if the schools are empty, guess who gets to teach them? Because it's the law. And if we don't exist, you get to do it. And if you fuck it up, guess who goes to jail? Kind of like they have something over our heads now called a value-added model or a VAM score. They take samples of our class of an exam that we're not allowed to see, we're not allowed to have study guides for, that we're supposed to teach, and grade teachers on whether or not we're teaching the right way. They don't tell us how they select the students. They don't take into consideration ELL, which is they don't speak the language, ESE, which is they may have a learning disability or something else is going on, or ESOL, which is English is not their first language, or if they got put into our classes the last 9 weeks and sample them to see how our student growth is, and if we don't get above a certain score, we're listed as needs improvement. I have kids, I've been teaching for 10 years now. I've taught over 2,300 kids and sent some on to be rangers in the military, sent some on to be engineers, aeronautical engineers. Some of them are working for NASA, others are working for Lockheed Martin, and apparently I'm not teaching my kids the right way. I'll go over that shit later on, but for right now, if you have kids, the thing you need to know tomorrow is don't fuck up. Don't send your kids to school, and when the school bitches about it, be like, the reason I'm not sending my kid is so that the teachers can fight for better pay so that my kid can get a better education. You need to pay them better, so you need to support them better, because the administration isn't helping us. Plain and simple. Time to fight back.